Let me put my intro in. Hey, what's good? Thawahgabar in the building. Black Authentic Truth. Got a few stories we're gonna go into, and we're gonna rock it out. This might not be as in depth as previous lives, but I definitely got some real history, some current history, and some ancient history having to do with the Bible, having to do with Egypt. So we're gonna definitely get that right. Just give me a second. Get my thoughts together. That Kendrick and Drake thing has been going up. Man, that Kendrick and Drake thing been going up. I'm gonna get to that. But first I want to talk about haters, right? In the Black community. With us, it's always that we always got haters. We always have somebody that's hating on us. We always got to have somebody that is against us. A lot of times I feel it don't be nobody really against us, but we have this idea in our culture that niggas is hating on me. People are hating on me. People don't want to see me win. People lurking. People don't like me. And so we make up this thing in our head that we have haters, right? We make up this thing. Let me see. Hello? No. Why? Nah, what's going on? Are you saying that you can't do it? I haven't left yet, so I'm actually live right now. Yeah. All right. Talk to you later. Yeah. So getting back to what I was saying is that we in our community we always have to have a hater. Like everybody is hating on us, everybody is against us. We like, we make up this imaginary, in my opinion, we make up an imaginary person that's hating on us. We see it in social media, we see it in the rap videos where somebody is against you. You have to have this adversary against you. You have to have this person that's going against you at all times, don't want to see you win, and they are haters. And I think a lot of times we look at constructive criticism as hate too. Like we don't make a difference between somebody constructively giving advice and giving us criticism versus somebody that is really hating. Now, what I'm saying is I'm not saying that haters don't exist or people that really don't want to see you win doesn't exist or nothing like that. I just feel like we overindulge in the black community on saying we have haters or making this enemy. And a lot of times, if you're gonna come out and say, well, niggas don't like me and niggas ain't this, or bitches ain't this, and bitches don't like me and they mad and all of that, you're actually creating somebody that is looking at you like, well, I don't like you now because no one ever hated on you. No one is hating on you, but it is a trend in the black community. It is a thing in the black community where you have to make up this hater. And it's almost like you got to make up this imaginary person that's hating on you for motivation. And so I feel like that's dysfunctional within our community. I feel like we got to get away from that mindset of always feeling like, people don't want to see me win. I got haters. They lurking, they looking at me, they checking my every move. Who are these people? Everybody doesn't have a hater. Some people just have never done anything to anyone. But you have these haters, you have these people that don't want to see you win, don't want to, want you to have a bad day, want you to have a downfall, want you not to prosper. Where are they at? I just feel like in our community, we make up this thing about an imaginary hater. Even in the music, everybody knows with rap, especially in the mainstream, a lot of the drama and a lot of the stuff that is made up is to sell records, is to put on a persona. It's not that you really have enemies. It's not that you really have haters. It's to put on that persona. It's to, you know, make money. You have to get people to look at you. So the way in our community, psychologically, I feel how we think is if we have more haters, if we say we have haters and people don't like us and people mad at our success, then more people will look at you. More people will pay attention to you. So that was just something I was thinking about. I was like, man, we really always talking about how people is hating on us. We're always talking about how niggas is hating, females is hating, they don't want to see me win, they can't do what I do. A lot of times you create the hater because of your attitude and because of the things that you're saying. So you come out and say, well, I did this, I did that, I drive this kind of car, I live this type of life. You niggas is hating, you niggas is mad when nobody is paying attention to you. And it can create someone that is envious and somebody that looks at you, or not even envious, somebody that looks at you like, man, who is this nigga? Who is this? Who? Nobody's even paying attention, but your attitude and what you're pushing, the energy that you're pushing can literally create somebody that is actually hating on you. So I think that is something that is definitely in our community. Nobody, a lot of people won't want to admit it because a lot of people partake in that type of mind frame, like thinking like that. Like, I got haters. Niggas is always hating. Niggas don't want to see me win. They niggas don't want to see me do this. Who? Where who are these imaginary haters? Who are these people that don't like you so much that they mad because you got a job? They mad because you got a new car. You're doing better than you was doing a year ago. And why is it that in our community it has to be like that? I don't think other communities is like that. I don't think that Asians say when they get a business or something like that, they say, well, you niggas is hating. These other Asians, they don't like me, they don't want to see me win. I'm doing my thing. I'm taking care of my family. I'm doing the right thing. They don't want to see me win. Everybody is against me. Yeah, y'all want to see y'all praying on my downfall. I don't think other communities do that. I think that is just a curse that is within our people that we got to get away from that. We got to get away from it. So yeah, I opened up with talking about Drake and Kendrick. Now, I'm a hip hop fan, and when I say I'm a hip hop fan, I'm a hip hop fan of lyricism. So this whole thing is with Drake and Kendrick. I think it's good for that world, for the hip hop world. I kind of like strayed away from even caring about that world because of all the garbage that is promoted in that world. But this is strictly lyricism. Like it goes back to the beginning of hip hop, which is battling. And everybody doesn't love battling. Everybody loves, the mainstream pop, all of the crap, all of the garbage that they push on television. But this right here is true to its original form, the art form of, battling and coming up with witty words and wordplay and just killing your opponent with wordplay. I like that thing. But what's come out of it is, accusations of domestic violence, accusations of being with a minor, a grown man being with a minor. And I'm like, hey, these are things we got to look at. Everybody is neglecting the thing about minors and all of that. Everybody's talking about the wordplay and what he said against one another. But I mean, if these things come to light and things are true, I wouldn't be surprised. Why? Because that's the world. In that entertainment world, we know no Diddy. We know these things go on behind the scenes. Right. So let me just get back. I want to bring up a video with Lil Wayne. Okay. Speaking of Drake and Kendrick, I'm gonna bring up this video of Wayne. This is crazy. Okay. Now watch this.
Now, when Drake came, he gave you bad news. Tell me how that went. Like, did he was like, man, I'm sorry. Like, did he break it to you lightly, or he just like went straight in with it?
Man, I swear, where's the camera? And please, anybody that know me real well, when you see this and whatever, please tweet and vouch for me. I have a very, very, very terrible memory, and I swear to God, I don't know what y'all talking about. I just did like 3-4 interviews, and I just kept it moving. Like, yeah, Drake, yeah.
So for clarification, that did not, it may not have happened.
Whatever it was, it happened. I just got a badass memory.
So you don't know who the girl was.
What are we talking about? That first of all.
So apparently, in the book, there's a part in the book where you say that he came in and told you that he had smashed one of your girls.
Oh, when he rapped up. Oh, I wasn't worried about that. I mean, I was just, that's just how life go when you locked up. Yeah, I know.
But she's done. You moved on. Life is good. Life is good. Will you rap about that? Do you think it'll end up on a song? Maybe you two might,
No.
No.
She still be texting me and stuff, They stop texting me too, for real. Because it still hurt.
Does it really?
No. But now I remember though, yeah, he rapped. I don't know who he rapped at. When you in jail though, even your side is your main. When you in jail,
I could talk to you all day.
When you in jail, it could be somebody when you was out of jail, you ain't never text her back, you ain't call her when she called you. You couldn't tell her what color her hair was. That's how much you ain't see her. But when you in jail, whew, If she don't answer that phone when you call, Lord have mercy.
Now, you heard what Lil Wayne said. Now, first of all, Lil Wayne pretended like it didn't bother him. Now, when he was locked up, Drake slept with one of his women, and you can see in how he responded that he tried to make it seem like he wasn't hurt, but he was hurt over it. Then he goes on to say, like, even if you have more than one woman, all of them matter. They really, really matter when you locked up. Because you know what? I can go back to the time when I was locked up, and getting a letter from anyone really made a difference. You know what I'm saying? Getting something from the outside world. So what he's saying is like, and you can see the pain and when he's reminiscing. He didn't remember at first, but when she brought it out about how Drake slept with his girl when he was locked up, you can see the pain and how he kind of don't want to go there anymore, and how he's like, man, she still be trying to call me. And you know, that is a rough thing. And they have a thing like when you get locked up, because he said it happens, it's life, it's part of life when you get locked up. But on the brotherhood level, on a level like us, like how we grow up, like how we grew up, like you don't want to mess with if my boy is messing with this girl, I don't want to mess with her ever. I don't even want to look at her like that. But he's supposed to be the mentor of Drake, you know what I mean, bringing him into the industry and everything. I don't know if Wayne personally did, but I know they were tight. And when he gets locked up, Drake sleeps with one of his women, which you can see to this day, it still hurts him to even think about it. Now, in our community, we think like this is nothing, like this is a flex. This is, you get dapped up for this. Like this is a cool thing. It's nothing wrong with it because he ain't thinking about her anymore, or he don't want her anymore. We have lost having honor as Black men. We don't have honor. And you can see here in that world that they live in, we know that they definitely don't have that honor, but that extends to our community. In our community, this happens all the time. I remember when I first went to jail, they would say things like this. Well, this is Southern California. I'm from the West Coast. So they would say, Sancho is with your girl. They would say, and I said, who is Sancho? But it was just the terminology to say that when you locked up, everybody is trying to sleep with your woman. And that happens in our community. What also happens is the minute that you're out the picture, whether it be death or anything, you went out of town or whatever, you have people that you thought were your friends that will try to do this. This is the evil thing amongst Black people. This is an evil thing amongst Black people. This is a very evil thing that brothers do. And I'm not just trying to put it on the brothers because it's all of us that we do against one another, where we think that this is okay. And we do it all the time to one another. But you can see how hurt Lil Wayne was. Lil Wayne was really hurt with that. Thinking about it, just thinking about it, the moans and the whimperings that he did. It's like, bro, like this is evil. And I'm saying this is evil. Like we should be doing better in our community, teaching brothers like that's hands off. Even if you do have the opportunity to get with the woman, even if you do have the opportunity to sleep with another man's woman that you know personally, don't do it. Just there's too many women. And look at Drake. Drake could have any woman he wants. Even at that time, whenever that happened, he's a superstar. He's a multimillionaire. He could have had any woman that he wanted, but he chose to mess with one of Lil Wayne's women. So that's just an evil, evil thing for a brother to do to another brother. And it is something that is basically unforgivable. It's basically unforgivable. And it takes me to a conversation I was having with a younger brother. He was saying that he was talking to a sister, and this sister was older than him, and she was telling him she was in a situationship, meaning she had another dude, but if they break up, it happens. She gonna be cool with it. And I told the brother, like, you don't want to get yourself into that. And this is a brother that's 22 years old. I said, you don't want to hop into something like that. A woman that's telling you off top she is dealing with another man, because when that other man learns about you, he is not going to want to hear no apology. You don't know what he might do. You don't know how he might flip out, and he might just do the unthinkable. So there are plenty of women that don't have a man that you can deal with and be okay with and be in the clear with. Why would you want to go into a situation like that to say that you're able to do it? It's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth, first of all, it's not worth your safety. And it's not worth your integrity, because if you do it once, you're going to keep on doing it. And then what happens is you might find yourself in a situation that you can't get out of. So that's just something to think about, man. That's a sad story. That's a horrible, I mean, not horrible, but it's a sad story to hear how Wayne is, you can tell that he was hurt from that whole episode, even though he has the ability, because he's a multimillionaire, to get another woman. It did something to him. Drake sleeping with that woman that was his when he was locked up, it did something to his spirit. And he's still holding on to it to this day. All right. Now, I'm going to drop this story. I want to go to talk a little bit about, when it comes to the history of ancient Egypt, whether it be black people or white people that claim that they were the ancient Egyptians, a lot of times, well, most of the time, they don't want to admit that it was actually slaves in ancient Egypt. Okay. They don't want to admit that, but there is history to prove that. So here's a little brief history that I'm going to go through. And if any of y'all know, some of y'all do know this history of the Hyksos ruling Egypt, meaning foreign people actually being on the throne of Egypt in the 15th dynasty. Hyksos meaning shepherd kings, meaning these were Semitic people that they flourished so much in ancient Egypt, in the Delta region of ancient Egypt, in the Varis, that they were able to take control of the government and be pharaohs on the throne of Egypt and bring a whole new way of religion and everything into Egypt. So first I want to get let me see. I want to get, this is from the tomb of Rekhmire. So this is from the tomb of Pharaoh, because they say that from a biblical standpoint, it didn't exist. It was, there was no slaves. But biblically, it says that the Israelites actually they built with brick and mortar. They worked in all manner of service in the field. So they did all kind of jobs or whatever. And this is from the tomb of Rekhmire. So in the tomb of Rekhmire, you have what is said to be Canaanites or Semitic people, not Hamitic people, who the Egyptians were, building, making bricks, doing all work and service in the field. To the right, what you have is a Semitic person making a chair, a carpenter. So you had all of these things going on. And this is the Brooklyn Papyrus, okay? This is the Brooklyn Papyrus, which gives a breakdown of what was going on. So it not only mentions many names that are biblical names, but what it also mentions is that Egypt forced every people that lived in Egypt to do forced labor, to work and to be in there building projects, constructing the temples, constructing the pyramids, constructing all of the different work projects that they had going on in ancient Egypt. So this was something that actually happened. Egypt forced different people to work as field hands, to basically be slaves. This is the Brooklyn Papyrus. What does it prove? It proves that they had slaves. Egypt had slaves. Okay. And when I talk about the Hyksos, these are actual sculptures of Hyksos while they were ruling Egypt right here. So you have the Hyksos, which were from Canaan, or what you know today as Israel. These people, Semitic people, flourished so much in ancient Egypt that they took over Egypt in the 15th dynasty and they ruled the throne to where they were making sculptures and sphinxes and, you know, all type of things. But, you know, of course, over time, everybody knows that in ancient Egypt, any defeats, anything that happened within ancient Egypt that was embarrassing, they would not record that in history. Well, there still stands sculptures, steles, and different artifacts that show you that there was a different people ruling on the throne of ancient Egypt. It was the Hyksos, or the other word was shepherd kings. So the Brooklyn Papyrus records the names of many Israelite people, which were common names. It also records the building projects that Egypt partook in, and they actually forced people to work on these building projects. If you're forced to do something, right? If America forces you to do something, let's just use America for example. If America forces you to do something, then are you doing it on your own free will? No, you're not. You're not doing it on your own free will. You are a field hand, you are a servant, you are a slave if America is forcing you to do it. So, well, this is what Egypt did. They forced uh the different peoples in Egypt within their borders, the Shemitic people, whatever clan, there was many different clans of Shemitic people. They forced them to work in those building projects. And in the tomb of Rekhmire, you see that many of these people were doing just that, making chairs, making mud bricks. They were working in all types of things within you know, the government, within the land. I'm sorry, not the government. Within the land, they were doing all manner of service in the field. They were the people at the bottom, just like black people, brown people today are the people that do all the jobs that keep America running, like work in the warehouse. I ain't gonna say driving trucks because everybody drives trucks, but work in the warehouse, security jobs, cutting the grass, like all of these little different jobs, roofing, carpentry, all of these jobs that without these jobs, the kingdom would fall. Or did I mention picking all of the fruit and vegetables out of the field? These are the jobs that the people were doing in ancient Egypt. And it's recorded in the Brooklyn Papyrus. It's recorded in that. It's recorded. So anybody that says that Egypt didn't have slaves, they don't know the history of ancient Egypt. They don't understand what was going on back then. That takes some sharp research. Thank you. Bulls fan 25. Menial jobs. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. They were doing menial jobs, okay, in ancient Egypt. And the Brooklyn Papyrus tells you that. Not only were they doing menial jobs, they were forced to do them. They forced the people living in ancient Egypt, the non-Egyptians, to do these menial jobs. There's pictures of Semitic people making beer, bread, washing clothes. Not pictures, but frescoes. These are paintings on the walls of ancient Egypt, on the tombs of the pharaohs. they're doing all of these jobs. Okay. And I think I may get to this video. I'm gonna drop this now. Now, like I said, that was history of, first I went into the history of the Hiscos, right? And just to give you a backdrop, the Hiscos were a Semitic people. Right. That's what we call essential jobs today. Bulls fan 25, man, you coming with it. That's what we call essential jobs today. We call those essential jobs, the backbone jobs, the jobs that hold up the whole nation. Well, these people were doing these jobs in ancient Egypt. They were slaves. They were called hands. Many times they're not recorded as slaves. They're recorded as hands. A hand is a slave. You sitting there hand and foot, doing whatever you have to do, whatever you're forced to do, according to the Brooklyn Papyrus. Okay. So anytime anybody ever says, oh, the Egyptians didn't have slaves, they built those pyramids themselves, they built those temples themselves, they did all of this stuff themselves, the Egyptians did it on their own, that is a lie. That is not accurate, and that is not the truth. Okay. So let me get here. Now I want to go to this story real quick. I was going to skip it, but I'm going to go to it. Go to this story with Michael Vick. Get it for you real quick.
Your friends from back home to Atlanta?
I didn't move when we all left together.
I mean, is this sort of a Newport News thing? Because Allen Iverson kind of had the same thing going on. He would always have a...
So this is this is Michael Vick. He's on Vlad TV, and he's saying, Vlad is asking him, you moved 6 of your friends with you? Like you took care of your friends? Is this a Newport News thing? Because Allen Iverson is from the same area. Is this and he trying to get to the because remember, Allen Iverson used to have his entourage with him, all his boys with him. I don't know how old some of y'all are, but AI used to come to the games with like 10 of his homies that he grew up with. AI was the reason that the NBA actually came with a dress code. This is during the baggy jean era, the puff vest and the Timbs and the FUBU boots. The NBA came with a dress code where you had to dress a certain way because of AI. And not only that, let me just say, as you fast forward into more modern times, the way these players dress now, with the skinny jeans, the tight jeans, they don't have no dress code for that. That's okay. They come in there with the skinny jeans, the ripped jeans, the painted nails. That's cool. But when AI was coming in his entourage, they came with a dress code where you had to start to wear slacks and ties and cardigans and all of that. Y'all remember that? They had to change up the way they dressed. Headbands and jeans, right? Headbands and jeans, you had to wear, you had to dress a certain way all of a sudden because of AI. But this is Vlad, who is how can I say it? He Jewish, right? He's supposed to be Jewish, so-called. He says he's Jewish. And he's asking his brother, Mike Vick, and we know all the controversy Michael Vick went through. He's asking him about, took care of all your friends? Is this a Newport News thing? Let me rewind it for y'all.
You moved 6 of your friends from back home to Atlanta?
I didn't move when we all left together.
I mean, is this sort of a Newport News thing? Because Allen Iverson kind of had the same thing going on. He would always have a big crew from back home with him.
This, man. You got a crew.
But I don't financially support him, though.
It's like
Michael Vick said, yeah, you got a crew. And Vlad is like, yeah, but I don't financially support him, though. Let's just keep going.
Walking in that back room and you broke and you find $20 million and you found it. They was outside. You ain't gonna give them nothing. You're not gonna give them a dime. You got a kids and you trying to get an apartment. You're not gonna help them when you got a pocket full of money.
It's a tough situation.
No, it's not a tough situation. I don't value a dollar, you know. I value, you know, loyalty. I value respect, character.
You moved 6 of
So Mike Vick says you go in the room, you find $20 million. Your friends outside, you're not gonna give them nothing. Vlad says that's a tough situation. Mike says that's not no tough situation. I don't value money. Money don't mean nothing to me. I value loyalty. I value respect and character. That's what I value, right? And so he's asking him about this, about you taking care of your friends or whatnot. And the point I want to make is that these people don't think like us. Now, when we get money, because of what we come from, we're thinking about how we can help our family. Case in point, when you look at a black youth, when they get a contract, an NBA contract, an NFL contract, an NBL contract, whatever the contract is, the first thing a brother does is what? Buys his mama a house. Make sure his siblings is straight. Make sure the immediate family is straight. His friends is straight. A lot of times you see brothers bring their friends on and give them jobs. Give them jobs, even if it's to their hurt. I remember hearing the story about MC Hammer. It said that he hired all kind of people from the hood in his family. I mean, it hurt him, but his mind was, I want to help people. I want to help the people around me. I come from nothing. So this money really means nothing. This money don't really mean nothing because I was happy in the hood. I was happy with nothing. Now life is more convenient, but why? What is this life if I can't share it with my brothers and sisters? And after a while, you see the stories. They start to see that you know, okay, I gave them money this many times. They didn't do what they was gonna say with it. I'm not gonna give them no money no more. But initially, that's where our mind is at as a people. Our mind is not just like, oh, I got this money, this is mine. I was blessed with it. Niggas didn't work for it. You're not, you know, it's my money. We don't naturally, that's not how we are, but naturally, that's how they are. Naturally, that's how you see how he is. Naturally, yeah, I got friends, but you know, I'm not taking care of them. I'm not gonna give them nothing. And the point, don't get me wrong, the point I'm making is not like, oh, we get the money and we're taking care of our friends. That's not the point. The point is that we want to see all of our people doing good. That's the spirit that we have initially. And then when we see our people, our brothers and sisters, our cousins constantly coming, asking for the money, but we see what they're doing, they're making bad choices with it, then you pump some brakes on it, right? But if I was in that position, if you give me, you know, a lot of money, the first thing I'm thinking is first of all, I'm thinking about, you know, my mom. I'm thinking about my family. I'm gonna think about my brothers around me. Think about you know, I'm thinking about my circle. I'm thinking about everybody. I'm not thinking about like, oh, nah, I can't do this because I won't be able to do this in the future. I'm not even thinking about that. I want everybody to experience what I'm experiencing. And we come from the bottom. So this really don't mean anything because we've been happy at the bottom. We've been happy with nothing. We've been happy between the 1st and the 15th. I've been happy between the 1st and the 15th. So me getting a whole you know, $20 million, $1 million, or whatever the case may be, I want to share it with my people. I love my people, but that's the spirit that I have. And you see these people, they have a spirit of selfishness. That's how America is built. But Vlad is like, nah, I'm not finna, you know, not help him. Vlad done made so much money off of black people as a culture vulture. And these type of people just hoard the money to themselves, hoard the money to themselves. It ain't gonna do you no good. You can only be so happy with money. And everybody knows that money doesn't actually bring real true happiness and real true contentment. So shout out to Mike Vick, because that's the spirit that we all should have. We shouldn't have that spirit of selfishness, right? Until somebody shows us otherwise. Until one, you want to help your people, you want to help your family members. But if maybe they have an issue, maybe they have a problem, maybe they have a drug problem. Okay, then when you recognize it, you recognize that you can't help them in that way. You can help them in another way. But as far as me getting the bread and saying, okay, I want to go to Puerto Rico, I want to go here, I want to experience this, I want to experience that. I've never done this before, and I probably never would if I had this money. I want y'all to partake in it. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. It's not a big deal, because the money is not what actually brings the happiness. It's not what brings the contentment. And so, like, he was perplexed. Vlad was perplexed, like, oh, that's a tough situation. It's a tough situation because you're selfish and you want to hoard everything to yourself. Michael Vick ain't selfish. He's a real one. Michael Vick is a real one. LeBron James is a real one. I just seen a story with who was it talking about what's the brother name? The brother that played as Killmonger, Michael something. The brother that played Killmonger. I can't remember it, y'all, right now. I cannot remember his name. Damn, why I don't know his name. But that brother, he put in a good word for it was an up and coming movie producer, a black man. He put in a good word, and it gave him the actual leverage to make more movies. And he started off with what's the movie called? The boxing movie. What's the boxing movie that Michael? I want to say Michael Jai White, but it ain't him. Michael B. Jordan. Thank you, Bulls fan 20. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. So Michael B. Jordan gave this producer, he put in a good word for this producer, and this producer he ended up producing Creed. He produced some other movie, I can't remember, but it's like a movie that's not really popular, but it was a good movie. Then he produced Creed, and then he won the Creed series, and then he went on to produce Black Panther. But it wouldn't have never happened if it wasn't for Michael B. Jordan actually, put the good word in, like showing some love to a brother. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have never happened. So you see, like, this brother probably would never have got the opportunity to produce Creed, produce Black Panther, be on the production. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like LeBron James, Michael B. Jordan, that type of energy is the type of energy that we all should have. Like, okay, maybe it wouldn't be good just to give everybody money, but I'm sure everybody has a talent and everybody has a skill that we all can benefit from. So let's make a team. So salute Michael Vick for that, for, standing on his 10 toes and checking Vlad for, getting at him like, oh, that's hard. He's like, no, it's not hard. It's not hard. You know what I mean? And so let me see. There's one more story. I'm going to end with this. This is a Black Authentic Truth story. This is Annie Turnbull Malone. Okay. I'm going to read the story for you. Annie Turnbull Malone was born on August 9th, 1869, to Robert Turnbull and Isabella Cook. Annie Turnbull was born on a farm near Metropolis in Massac County, Illinois. She was the 10th of 11 children. Annie's parents died when she was young. Annie moved to Peoria with her sister, Ada Moody, who raised her. She was fascinated by hair and chemistry, but illness forced her out of high school. With the guidance of her herbalist aunt, she began to make hair products catered to Black women. Liquid shampoo was one of the first products she made. She also was very interested in straightening hair and in a way that wouldn't damage it. During this time, women were using goose fat, heavy oils, soap, or baking grease to straighten their hair, which damaged the scalp and hair. Annie attended school in Illinois, where she apprenticed with her sister as a hairdresser. By 1889, Malone had developed her own scalp and hair products. She named her new product Wonderful Hair Grower. She demonstrated and sold her products from a buggy throughout Illinois, going door to door. She even gave away free treatments to attract more customers, like companies do today. By 1902, Malone's business, I'm sorry, by 1902, Malone's business growth led her to St. Louis, Missouri, where she had a high demand for her products. Her first shop was at 2223 Market Street. She launched an advertising campaign that included Black press, tours of the southern states, and recruitment of sales agents trained in selling her line. At some point, likely in 1903, she met her most famous client, Madam C.J. Walker, who then went by the name Sarah Davis or Sarah McWilliams. Walker had battled hair loss for years due to dandruff and psoriasis of the scalp, then known as tetter. She recommended that Walker regularly wash her hair, use a sulfur-based treatment, change her diet, and practice scalp massage to cure her psoriasis. Malone's motto was, "Clean scalps mean clean bodies." Before long, Walker's hair grew from shorter than her ears to past her shoulders. Mrs. Malone's Poro system was not based on hairstyling as much as it was on scalp hygiene. According to Whitfield, Turnbull held news conferences and went on tours throughout the South to promote her products, giving demonstrations and recruiting women as local sales agents. Madam C. Walker worked as an agent until at some point she left the company due to a disagreement. Walker allegedly took the original Poro formula and created her own brand of it. This development was one of the reasons that led to Turnbull copywriting her products under the name Poro because of what she called fraudulent imitations and to discourage counterfeit versions. Her school reportedly graduated about 75,000 agents worldwide, including in the Caribbean. By 1930, the first full year of the Great Depression, Malone had moved from Missouri and settled on Chicago's South Side. On May 10th, 1957, Annie Turnbull Malone was treated for a stroke at Providence Hospital in Chicago, where she died. At the time of her death, Poro beauty colleges were in operation in more than 30 U.S. cities. St. Louis honors her memory with the Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center, whose mission is to improve the quality of life for children, families, elderly, and the community by providing social services, educational programs, advocacy, and entrepreneurship. The website of the State Historical Society of Missouri admits as much. Annie Turnbull Malone's legacy as a pioneer in the African American beauty and cosmetic business has largely been overshadowed by the success of her former employee, Madam C.J. Walker. It states, this is beginning to change. However, Anne Malone is now being recognized for her role in launching this industry. She is considered to be the first African American woman to become a millionaire based on reports of 14 million in assets held in 1920 from her beauty and cosmetic enterprises, headquartered in St. Louis and Chicago. She built an educational enterprise centered on cosmetics for African American women, a businesswoman, an inventor, and a philanthropist. This is the story of Annie Turnbull Malone. Now, this is the story of Annie Turnbull Malone. This sister, because her story was not as sensational, her story has not been heard. But the story of Madam C.J. Walker is a story that has been heard because it is a rags to riches story that is more sensational. So they have made movies, they have talked about it. But Annie Turnbull Malone was actually the first Black millionaire, not Madam C.J. Walker. And this is education that our people need to know. Your story doesn't have to be sensational and be a story that, you know, white people think, oh, this is great. This will, you know, make people, you know, love us. We will get the ratings for this. It doesn't have to be that, but it does have to be the truth. And the truth is that this Madam C.J. Walker actually went to her schools. Annie Turnbull Malone. Madam C.J. Walker actually attended her schools and was an agent of her company. It also said that Madam C.J. Walker went and made her own products. Allegedly, she took the same formula from this sister. And this sister is very unknown. Anytime you hear about the first Black millionaire, you hear Madam C.J. Walker. The first Black millionaire actually was a brother. But when you talk about the first Black woman millionaire, is known to the world that it was Madam C.J. Walker. Well, Madam C.J. Walker learned from Annie Turnbull Malone how to do hair care. In fact, Annie Turnbull Malone, as you heard what I read, is she even helped Madam C.J. Walker grow her hair for it to grow longer. It was at her ears, and before long, it was at her, you know, past her shoulders. So this is history that we need to know. This is Black Authentic Truth history. Let me look at the comments. Ryan Coogler. You know, Bulls fan 25. I'm not for sure. I have to look it up. What I have is let me see real quick. I don't believe the brother's name was Ryan Cougar, but it could be him. You know, that's the problem with us learning our history. We have to learn our history from people who don't really give a damn about us, and they don't keep accurate records of what we did and what we accomplished. I'll look into it. I'll definitely look into it. I'll look into it. And I'll look into Ryan Coogler, this brother right here. Yeah, like you said, ye were Gentiles. Good. We never heard of this, unfortunately. We don't hear about this stuff. We don't hear about these people, these brothers and sisters. That's why I be want to talk about brothers and sisters that during Black History Month they don't talk about. We talk about the same people every year, and no shade to our brothers and sisters who were pioneers, but there's so many brothers and sisters that had great inventions, that did a lot of things and just were forgotten about. They were forgotten about. So I don't want to forget anybody. I don't want to forget anybody. I want to keep a story alive, like I did the story on Willie Francis. And I had never heard the story of Willie Francis, and it was a terrible story to hear. It was a terrible story to read. It was a story that the back of my eyes burnt. It burnt me up. I got so angry. I got angry reading the story. I got angry. I'll do the story again of George Stinney. I get angry when I read stories like that. Somebody, a young boy that is innocent, but we don't have the resources to fight for ourselves. We don't have the representation to fight for ourselves and say that we didn't do it. We get railroaded into are coerced into saying, "Oh yeah, I did it," under threat of violence, surrounded by white men. Willie Francis was surrounded by white men. Nobody came to his defense. So these are the stories that I want to talk about. Sometimes they're hard to stomach. They're hard to digest. They're hard to listen to. But this needs to be heard. I don't want to ever forget what happened to my ancestors, ever. I'll never forget that. You got me effed up if you think that, I will just look that by and say, oh, that was in the past. It don't really matter. I'll never do that. I'll never do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I have built my platform off of. And that's what I will continue to do, because that is the lifeblood of Black Authentic Truth. It ain't about, the shiny stuff and the feel good stuff and the current events. The current events, people like current events. People like sensational stuff. People like controversial stuff that's going on right now. But my platform is actually built off of the old stories of forgotten Black men and women that were never heard and don't get heard during the times where so-called Black people want to talk about Black history. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Bulls Fan 25. Definitely, I appreciate you for your input and rocking with me. I appreciate you, ye were Gentiles, brother. You know what I'm saying? Thank you in the ancient Hebrew, in the Paleo Hebrew, the water, for y'all rocking with me. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I got a graduation I got to get to. So with that, without further ado, you already know what it is. This is Black Authentic Truth. Peace.